This is Carl Johnson of CJ Behavior Coaching and Consulting. You can call me CJ. And today we're talking about the way parents, foster parents, teachers, and other caregivers respond to an angry child or an angry young person, an angry student. So the picture says, don't bring fire to the fire. You only get a bigger fire. So what that means is if you have a very angry person who is yelling, crying, cursing, hitting, running, and you respond in the exact same way, you're only going to make the problem worse. You're basically bringing fire to the fire. It's just like if I asked you if you had a fire in your home and you had a bucket of water and you had a lighter, which one would you grab? Well, you would grab the bucket of water because you know water is actually going to make the situation, the crisis, better. The lighter is going to make it worse. So it's just like if your child is angry and screaming at you, you in turn get angry and scream at them, you're making it worse. It is bringing fire to the fire. If your child is hitting you and you begin hitting them, you're making it worse. If you respond to a very angry child with a calm voice, space, understanding, validation of feelings, that would be considered putting the bucket of water on it, because what you're going to do is you're going to eventually put that fire out. It might take some time, but you're making things better. By putting a lighter on there, you're actually making it worse. So you want a decrease in what you're seeing. So it all depends on how you respond. If you respond with the water, you will see a decrease in those behaviors that are challenging. If you put a lighter on it, you're going to see an increase in those behaviors that are challenging. Again, you're bringing fire to the fire. So I guess my question is to ask you just something to think about right now as you listen to this podcast. How do you respond when your child is having difficult or challenging behaviors? Are you able in the moment to be a little more calm? Do you resort to yelling and screaming and threatening and those kind of things? And if you do, what effect do you think is having on your child? Quite often, those things make the problem worse, not just then, but in the future. So let's just say your child was upset and you were out at the store. Your child started yelling and screaming. You yelled and screamed at them and they got quiet and you got them home. It might appear to you that yelling and screaming at them or threatening them worked. Well, it didn't work. It didn't work long term. It only possibly made them afraid of you or it embarrassed them in front of everyone. And then they stopped then. But I guarantee you at some point down the line or some point soon, you're going to see more of those same behaviors and you're probably going to see an increase even of those behaviors because whatever was going on that made them upset, that wasn't fixed. It wasn't addressed. It was just fire was added to it and maybe your fire was bigger than theirs. But their fire is coming back out because, again, these are unmet needs that are not being addressed. So any behavior, you want to look at any behavior as, or difficult behaviors as your child is saying, or your student or your young person is saying, I feel something, I need something, I want something. I feel something, I need something, I want something. They don't want more fire. They do not want more fire. What they need is a bucket of water on the fire that they're having because maybe they have lost control and they need someone to help them regain control or teach them how to gain control. You can do that by talking calmly to them, listening to them, getting down to their level, offering a hug, taking a walk, doing deep breathing, doing a coping skill, those kind of things, and then getting to the root of what's going on or making them yell. But again, raising your voice at your child will make it worse. Hitting your child will make it worse. Yelling at your child, making threats will only make it worse. So you have to have the right attitude to begin with of why you feel your child is having those behaviors in the first place. And as we talked about in one of our other podcasts, quite often when caregivers see a child's behaviors as he's just wanted attention or she just wants attention, it seems to be met with a very negative response. Like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time just to be giving you some attention. That's ridiculous, or that's foolish, or I don't understand that, or that's dumb. it might seem foolish to you. It might seem dumb to you, but it doesn't seem dumb or foolish to the child who is obviously going through something. So you want to remember that a better attitude towards behaviors can lead to a better intervention. So taking a few minutes to calm and regulate yourself when a child is upset, to think about, okay, so how's the best way to respond to my child or to this student or to this young person? You're going to respond in a better way by taking some time to calm yourself. It's kind of one of the things that we tell students to do or young people to do. It's like, hey, next time you get upset, stop, think, breathe. And we don't often, as adults, do the same thing. We don't stop, think, and breathe and then move forward to what we need to do. We just react. Well, a lot of times young people react as well. So if you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you're constantly putting out fires, and we're talking about behaviors, what you want to do is look at, are you spending more time responding and intervening with a fire, or are you putting more of your effort in preventing the fires in the first place? Quite often, the focus is intervention. What do I do after my child gets angry? What do I do after this student starts hitting everyone? And what I would ask you is like, what are you doing before that happens? What are you doing to prevent those things from happening? Well, when your child is having a fire, a crisis, and you get to the root of what's going on, you get down to the feelings that are beneath the behaviors, the root cause, you will be able to address those things a lot better. If your child is upset about their place in line, or that your child is feeling like they're being left out or not connected, or they're not given the same opportunities, well, they're feeling like things are unfair. So that's something you can address before the next fire, and hopefully those fires or those chances of fires will decrease. This is Carl Johnson of CJ Behavior Coaching and Consulting, and today we're talking about don't bring a fire to the fire. We want you to respond more effectively to put out those fires. If you have any questions that you would like to see in a podcast, you can email us at cjempowersparents@gmail.com, or you can call us at 480-740-4976. Again, this is CJ saying good night, everybody.